ॐ नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. My salutations to Swami Vivekananda, who was one of the best among the ascetics, and his nature is existence, knowledge, bliss absolute. He descended on this earth to redeem the difficulties of the mankind. Oh, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, today is a interesting topic we are thinking of, the manifesting the three strength as per Swami Vivekananda's way. As you all know, probably today is the Swami Vivekananda's birthday according to the Gregorian calendar. So Swami Vivekananda was born on January 12th, 1863. So from the Gregorian calendar point of view, today is Swami Vivekananda's birthday. Even some devotees had come today. Oh Swamiji, are there no celebrations today in the ashram? Then I had to explain. Generally, we observe birthday celebrations based on Hindu almanac or Indian almanac, which comes in February first week this year. And this National Youth Day, which is very well celebrated across the India, but nowadays we see in the West, even US or Europe, in different parts of Europe and US also, they do celebrate the birthday of Swami Vivekananda today. For an example, in the Netherlands today, they had a uh, opening function of Swami Vivekananda statue by the Indian ambassador to the Netherlands. They had a wonderful function today. And this Swami Vivekananda's birthday probably is one of the grand occasion for all of us to think, to revisit his teachings, to contemplate on his teachings and probably deduce some inspiration for our life. Every one of us, we have got different struggles in the life, at the physical level, at the mental level, intellectual level, or at the emotional level, and even also at the spiritual level. For all these things, Swami Vivekananda's teachings can be the panacea to all these problems or challenges or adverse circumstances. So when I was thinking about Swami Vivekananda's message and to discuss it for today, my mind immediately started thinking about the strength, because this is the one of the word which Swamiji used to like often. And he used to give a lot of stress for this one word, strength, strength, strength. And he says, the want of strength, he equates the want of strength to the death, and saying, strength is life, weakness is death. Strength is life, weakness is death. So the want of strength means it is as good as death alone. So Swamiji gave lot of importance to the strength. So in the Sanskrit word for the strength, it is called Shakti or Bala. So Swami Vivekananda has spoken about the strength, his message of strength, which gives a lot of hope for us, no doubt. So when we think deeply about this strength, the what are the different aspects or different limbs, different components of the strength which Swamiji has spoken? If you ask me, probably I would like to categorize into three parts the way on which Swamiji has spoken on the strength. And as a broad classification, one is physical strength, the second is mental strength, and the third is spiritual strength. So these are the three strengths on which Swamiji has spoken number of times in his lectures. And of course, there are a few other aspects also. And these three strengths are not something which is not unavailable for any being, either for animal and especially for human being. So all of them are hidden in us in potential form we have to manifest. And when you see the Swami Vivekananda's two statements, which is often quoted statements. Religion is the manifestation of the divinity which is already in man, and education is the manifestation of perfection which is already in man. So, and everything is same except two words. In the definition of religion, Swamiji is selling divinity, and in the definition of education, Swamiji is using the word perfection. So the divinity and the perfection both are synonyms. Only Swamiji has used different words contextually. So that we are all divine. We are all self, not the body and mind. And this divinity is the expository or of the substratum of all strength actually. When we say, I am the self, Shivoham, Shivoham, what does it mean that? It is divine, wonderful, and this divinity itself explains or it tells us that it includes full love strength and which is there in all of us, but we have to manifest only. So, what are the three strengths we have to manifest? Physical strength, mental strength, and spiritual strength. Now, let us try to understand. And all this, most of these ideas, Swamiji, whatever is spoken or he has delivered through his lectures, most of them are based on the Upanishads, which is called, in other words, Vedanta. Now, this Swamiji he has number of times he has spoken of physical strength. We should be physically strong. And this idea we can see very clearly in the Upanishads. For an example, Upanishad, in one of the Upanishads, major Upanishad says, Sharira Madhyam Kalu Dharma Sadhanam. Shariram Adhyam Kalu Dharma Sadhanam. The first sadhana, the first spiritual practice is what? To keep the body fit, to keep the body healthy. Of course, when our age advance, when our body age advance, obviously it will have its own problems, no doubt. But in generally, we have to keep our body fit. And if you see the life of Swami Vivekananda, he himself used to do exercise and used to go for gym and he has to do a lot of exercises so that he can keep his body fit. So, and he used to give lot of importance for this physical strength. In one place he says, quote, my child, what I want is muscles of iron and nerves of steel, inside which dwells a mind of the same material as that of which the thunderbolt is made. Strength, manhood, kshatra virya combined with Brahma Teja, unquote. So Swamiji is saying that we want muscles of iron and nerves of steel, and also is spoken of the willpower, which is like a thunderbolt. So Swami Vivekananda's life itself is one of the wonderful example for his own saying. And when I was thinking about this sentence, immediately I remembered a great lady, probably many of you know, Man Kaur. She's from India. She's from Punjab, western part of the India. Very interestingly, her life story is very interesting and very inspiring. So the manifestation of the physical strength, when I say, probably when you hear her story, you'll be able to understand. She practiced, she was a great athlete. She was a great athlete. She practiced running. She started practicing the sports or games at the age of 93. Very well we can imagine. At the age of 93, she started practicing all these things. And she won, I think, 100 meters sprint, probably in the Auckland, I think, in the New Zealand. She in the international level, she participated in the 100 meters run, 100 meters sprint, and just she finished in 74 seconds, probably, and which was one of the Guinness record or a world record. And at what age? At the age of 101 or 101 years. At the age of 101, she had a 100-meter sprint and she stood first in the international level. And when you read her story, the beauty is she started her training. She started her training at the age of 93, and her coach was her own son, who started, coaching her at the age of 79. So when we say young and old, so many times when I read such stories, I think the age, the word young and old, it is something related with the mind, not with the body most of the time. See, he was the coach. He coached her own mother at the age of 79, and she started receiving the coaching for in the sports at the age of 90 plus. And I think shot put, javelin, and so many other things she participated in different competitions in the India as well as at the international level. And she stood a lot of awards or prizes, and she was a great inspiration at the age of 105 recently, maybe 2 or 3 years before she left her mortal coil. So that means what? At the age of 101 or 91, she started practicing the running, and she was able to win the awards at the international level. What does it mean? That physical strength was in her. She manifested it. So, for an example, for any one of us, if someone gives 5 or 10 kg weight a thing and if asked to lift, we can lift easily. And maybe 1 or 2 seconds or 10 seconds or 1 or 2 minutes we can hold. But afterwards our hands start to get paining. And if someone asks 25, 30, 40 kgs, we may lift but we can't hold for a long time. But if anyone asks you should hold it for 5 minutes, then I will give a good amount of money. If someone asks, then I say yes and give me some time. And every day I start lifting 25 kgs, a gunny bag. I'll be lifting and keeping, holding for some time and keeping. So probably 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, when I practice continuously, I will be able to hold the 25 kgs gunny bag for 5 or 10 minutes without any difficulty. But just 3 or 4 weeks before, when a person was asked, though I was able to lift, but I was not able to hold for a long time. Now I am able to hold. What is that? Because of exercise. Fine. What is that? Exercise of the physical power. Means that muscular power I had in my body, but only by exercising it, I manifested the physical power. So we have to manifest the physical power by through running, by exercise, by having a good balance lifestyle, work and what you say, profession, work and life, personal life and professional life balance style. All these things having and a good taking a proper food, we should have a physical strength. Why? Nayamatma balahinena labhya. Katopashad says. If you are weak, most of the time we cannot have the Brahma Gnana. Because when my body is weak, it affects my mind will become weak, then I cannot sit for meditation. Or I cannot control my mind. I cannot do spiritual practice. I cannot do meditation. I cannot do prayers or whatever. And the interesting, I think one more is the genesis of the Shaolin. 36 chambers and a lot of movies have come which has been in China. And if you see the origin, it starts from India and it was in Kerala basically. Then afterwards, Buddhism accepted it and they developed it. And afterwards, slowly it went through via Tibet to China. And afterwards, they improved a lot. And the Shaolin, whatever the art they developed, the fundamental reason, the fundamental cause was that for the Buddhist monks, they wanted to sit in meditation for a long time without much disturbance. For that, they thought we should have a strong body and strong mind. For that, they devised lot of techniques by which they will have a strong body, strong mind, and a good concentration. That's how the Shaolin started. But afterwards, it took a political turn, and afterwards, defending people or as a game and killing people. All these things it took ugly. It took a ugly turn afterwards. So there, because for strong body and mind also, the Shaolin also started. So the strong body is very, very required for all of us. And Sharira Madhyam Kaludharma Sadhanam, as I told, the first sadhana, spiritual practice, is what? Keeping the body fit. And by exercise, by walk, or by going to gym, whatever, we have to keep our body fit so that we can try to achieve many other things. This is what Swamiji, when he says physical strength, what is required. And the second important thing When Swamiji speaks about the strength is what? Mental strength, the power of the mind. Swamiji has given a wonderful lecture on the power of the mind itself. So we all of us we have got a tremendous willpower, but only we have to manifest it. Manobhala we say in Sanskrit. And this manobhala has got many other different components, subcomponents in that. What is that? One is willpower, the second is expansion of intellect, and the third is strong emotions, the fourth is character formation. All these things constitutes the manobhala, or the mental power, or the power of the mind. So let us try to understand what does this mean one by one. Now, strength of mind means what? It is nothing but willpower, or in Sanskrit it is called dhruti. Whatever may come, whatever may go, whatever may happen, but I will not deviate from my decision. I will not deviate from my practices. I will not deviate from my goal, attaining the goal. So, this tremendous willpower, every one of us we have to exercise. Even if you see in the Swami Vivekananda's life itself, he had to undergo a lot of problems, or challenges, or adverse circumstances. But still, he never deviated from his path, he never deviated from the goal which he had taken. We all know that on the September 11, 1893, in the Chicago's Parliament of Religions, Sisters and Brothers of America, when he told, I mean, 4 or 7,000 people, they got up and they clapped for 3 minutes and they gave a standing ovation. Every one of us, we know that. But before that, he had to undergo a lot of struggles and difficulties. For an example, K3 king from the K3, he had given the silk clothes for Swamiji when he was coming to Chicago. Because in India, one of the costliest clothes or the very luxury clothes are silk clothes. As a result, the K3 Maharaja had given the silk clothes for Swamiji. Swamiji had 3 or 4 pairs, probably. With that silk cloth, Swamiji sailed to the Chicago. When it started from the Mumbai, slowly it, I mean, coming towards Sri Lanka, and then Chennai, Bay of Bengal, then it crossed China, Singapore, Japan, and when it went to Pacific Ocean, then slowly cold wind started. Swamiji started facing the cold wind. That type of cold wind Swamiji had never faced, and it was so chill, and he's shivering from the cold. So probably I think 200 or 300 rupees in those days. They said a cost of a good sweater. And then Swamiji said, I don't have so much money, or I can't spend so much money for a sweater. Instead of that, I will try to forbear. And he had to forbear the cold while traveling for 2 months. Luckily, he was the good friend of the captain of that Empress India. They had a good talk or good discussions. Then the captain of the ship, he had a second set of the woolen clothes. Then he spared his woolen sweater for Swamiji, and Swamiji managed his journey with the woolen sweater which was given by the captain. Then for 2 months he traveled for a few thousand miles to Vancouver. He got down from there again 2,000 miles. He had to come to Chicago. He comes to Chicago and he doesn't know anyone. And in 10 or 11 days, whatever the money he had, more than half of the money had been spent because it's quite costly. Then he was thinking what to do. Then he thought probably I can try to go to village side and I can cut the cost of living. Then he had to travel 1,000 miles from Chicago to the Boston to just to cut the what do you say cost of living. And there, Catherine he met, and she took him Swamiji, and she gave his farmhouse where she was living. She was one of the teacher, and also I think author of few books, and that's how so many help Swamiji got from then onwards. So even before Swamiji's the Chicago's Parliament of Religions previous day, Swamiji never didn't had any place to stay in the cold. Swamiji was just he stayed in the railway wagon, which is the just is the rusted and haunted place where all the trash was thrown. There Swamiji had in the cold wind, in the cold air or atmosphere, Swamiji had to stay in that old wagon without even food. So see, lot of difficulties these people have faced. And today they have become celebrities probably. And we all think, we all celebrate, we all put different big garlands to their photos today. But during those or their own lifetimes, they had to face lot of struggles, lot of difficulties. But because of their tremendous willpower, they crossed all these things. They faced all these things. So manifesting the divinity means what? Tremendous willpower, which is nothing but dhruti. And again, this willpower is there in everyone. It is there. It exists in every one of us. Only we have to manifest it. We have to exercise our mind. We have to exercise our willpower, and we have to manifest it. So by this tremendous willpower, one can achieve anything and everything. Swamiji, I think in one of his Karma Yoga lecture, karma and its effect on character, beautifully he tells. The will is stronger than anything else. Everything must go down before the will. And he continues elsewhere. Machines are instruments. Cities, ships are men of war. All these are simply the manifestation of the will of man. This will is caused by character, and character is caused by karma. Or as is karma, so is the manifestation of the will. As the action, so is his willpower. So everyone by practice, here karma means we can say action, or by practice, one can manifest or one can develop the tremendous willpower. For an example, one of the example which I can give probably here is the Brooklyn Bridge in the New York. In those days, probably if you know the history of the Brooklyn Bridge, it is one of the earliest or the first bridge, hanging bridge in the New York in those days. But the construction, when it started, I think the person was John Augustus Roebling. He took the in charge of this building. He was a basically architect. He had to discuss with the then government and corporation for a long time. He had to pester. He had to probably sometimes he had to beg and he had to convince them. And finally, he took the charge of it and he started just building the Brooklyn Bridge. In those days, with the available technology he was doing, but in no time, because of some accident while construction, he had to lose his life. He died and he passed away. Then New York corporation, then they thought they will give up this idea of building the Brooklyn Bridge for the East River. Then, but this John Augustus Roebling's son was Washington Roebling. He was very well aware of his father's desire or life dream. He again approached the New York Corporation or Council saying that, please give me a chance. Definitely, I will do it. But again, New York Council was not ready. Again, he convinced them, and the order was given for them to do it. And in those days, they had to dig in the canal, in the river, and they had to do a lot of things. While doing, he underwent the decompression sickness. As a result, his body was paralyzed. He understands, but is not able to speak, and there are no body movements because of the very different situations they were working under, 20 feet or 30 feet, 50 feet underground, where there is no oxygen and all. Many people had to lose their life, no doubt, while building this bridge. And this Washington Roebling had become paralyzed. Now there is no one. Again, Washington's wife, Emily Warren, she was also a very strong lady because she knew what is the life dream of his husband and as well as father-in-law. She said to to her husband that, never mind, you give me the instructions. You give me the instructions. I will convey to the people, the other architects or other construction people. Let them continue. At least Washington Roebling was also an engineer. It was not a difficult for him. And this Emily was not a engineer by profession. So she doesn't know anything about construction. And added to that, this Washington is not able to speak even properly and he was completely paralyzed. Either he has to sleep or he can sit at the most on the wheelchair, nothing more than that. Then probably I think only he was able to move something, and he used to make sign languages on her hand. And slowly she picked up what her husband is going to say or what her husband meant. Slowly she understood, and she started translating or depicting what her husband Washington wants to say or convey to the other workers. So slowly, in I think in a 2 or 3 or 4 years, they were able to build the Brooklyn Bridge. And that day, because of his ill health, Washington was unable to go for the inaugural ceremony. After the inauguration, some officers, they came and they felicitated this Washington and Emily Warren for their human service for building this what do you say, Brooklyn Bridge. So when we think of these type of examples, when we hear such type of examples, so everything is possible. When we say impossible, after I put an apostrophe, then becomes I am possible. So it's all in our mind. So the tremendous willpower by this, anything and everything is possible. And Swami says that even the manifestation of the willpower is what? Construction of cities, construction of warships, construction of all the bigger things, satellites or rockets or whatnot. Everything is because of the tremendous willpower. And by that willpower, one can build his life, one can achieve success personally, and he can contribute to the world success or the country's success. And the one more important point with the aspect of the mind power or power of the mind is what? Expansion of intellect. It is very fine and very interesting topic actually. What do I mean by expansion of intellect? So the information has to be translated into knowledge, and the knowledge has to be translated into wisdom. That's what I mean, expansion of intellect. We have got a lot of informations today. We are living in the age of information. Everything is possible in Google. Whatever you want, everything we can get. So we have been, what do you say, loaded with the informations. Fine. So the information has to translate into knowledge. Means making use of information, I should be able to understand the concepts. I should be able to understand the subject. I should be able to understand any topic. And not only that, I should be also able or capable of putting into practice. This is what I mean, information which has to be translated into knowledge, and the knowledge has to be translated into wisdom. Say, for an example, gravitational force. Every one of us, we know gravitational force today. So gravitational force is an information. Then afterwards, the person, whoever invented the gravitational force, he had enough knowledge. And the after the scientist, whoever came, they understood about it, and using the centrifugal force, or cryogen technology, and especially with the gravitational force, they started launching the satellites. They started, launching the rockets. So the knowledge has been translated into wisdom there, or the other way of telling, science and technology. The theory part of the knowledge is science, and the practical aspect, or the science which has been put into use, is what? Technological aspect. That's what I mean. The expansion of intellect means our knowledge has to be put into practice, which can be useful for me, and which can be useful for the community or for the country also. So expansion of intellect also is the part of the mental strength. So there can be given lot of examples with this. And the third important point is strong emotions. Because our emotions are weak, we suffer. Though Aristotle has said, man is a rational being, no doubt, but primordially we are all emotional beings. When our emotions are disturbed, we easily get disturbed, and it drains away our lot of energy. Similarly, when emotions are positive, we feel lot of strength, and we feel lot of, what you say, zest or joy, and we can do anything and everything. Say mind is that day very happy, it isn't blissful. Even I don't mind to spend 2 more hours for work. Why? Because emotionally I'm positive that day, I'm joyful or whatever. Say, for an example, that day my emotions are weak, I am feeling weak. Even normal work becomes difficult for me, or concentration becomes difficult for me. So strong emotions are very much required. Probably in this today's today world, the sledging they often used, especially in the sports, in the cricket and all, they use the word called sledging. So when I am not able to defeat an opponent, then I will use some sentences and I will trigger them so that emotionally they will disturb. Once they are emotionally disturbed, their concentration is disturbed. Once their concentration is disturbed, somehow or other we can make them uh, go out from the game, play or whatever. So this got sledging in the present day language, in the cricket language. So it is done often in the debates, of course, in Nyaya Shastra. this is been used always. That is in the Nyaya Shastra, 2000 or 3000 years in the old Nyaya Shastra. So in today, present day, it has been used sledging. The other is character. Swamiji tells that, see, you have got physical strength, mental strength, all these things fine. It gives a success, never mind. But with the lack of character, this success cannot be retained. And today present economical philosophy is speaking, the management philosophy, it is telling about it. Lot of firms they come, lot of startup companies they come, but after 10 years or after 20 years or after 30 years, if you see, there are very few companies who stay back. One is because whatever they started with the intention and the professional ethics, but somewhere they compromise. One of the main reason, as a result, they have to wind up their business or they have to go back. So character also includes ethics, morality, good action, good thinking, good speech. All these things can be put under character. And Swamiji tells if you have got a strong character, you can face anything and everything in the life. And Swamiji stands for this strong character. I mean, strong character means right character or good character. And the other important, the third type of strength, physical strength visa, mental strength, the power of mind visa. The third is spiritual strength. Swamiji has spoken time and again about this. That is nothing but Atma Bala, Atma Bala, Atma Bala. What does it mean? The efficacy of this spiritual strength, Swamiji beautifully explains in one of his lecture. Teach yourselves, teach everyone his real nature. Call upon the sleeping soul and see how it awakes. Power will come, glory will come, goodness will come, purity will come, and everything is excellent will come when the sleeping soul is aroused to self-conscious activity, which is aroused to self-conscious activity. I think one of the examples Swami Vivekananda himself gives that in Himalayas. He has got his own example, no doubt, in his life. And apart from that, once in Himalaya, he was in the Himalayas, probably was taking a bath or suddenly a man-eater tiger enters and he suddenly catches a person who was available. He was a sadhu and he was Advaitic sadhu. Means who used to practice Advaitic philosophy in his life. Then the tiger has caught the stomach portion of the sadhu and with his strong teeth or jaw, it is carrying the body of the sadhu and blood is oozing out. And because there were some probably holes has been done, the liver portion has come, the small liver has opened and it is hanging. So small portion of small liver is hanging and blood is profusely bleeding, and still there is a breath and the prana is there of the sadhu, and the tiger is holding the sadhu's body and the tiger is moving and everyone is fearful and they're screaming and they're shouting, and some of them have gone into the river, some have gone tried to climb the tree or whatever. But that sadhu, with a calm, composed mind, as if nothing happened, he was telling that Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am the Shiva, I am the Shiva, I am the Shiva. So even the fear of death, which is the greatest fear for all of us, Abhinivesha, which is called in Sanskrit, even that didn't shook the mind of that particular monk or particular sadhu. So even while he is dying, where blood is oozing out, the liver has come out, the small liver and all. Even at that juncture, critical juncture, he is telling, I am Shiva, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Means I am the self, not the body, not the mind. So this tremendous courage, tremendous power, tremendous strength, that sadhu, where did he get? Because of this Atma Bala, the power which has been derived from the self, from the Atman. So this Atma Bala is there in every one of us, only we have to manifest. I think most of us, we all know that example. Even Swami Vivekananda's life, also such example is there. When Swami Vivekananda was traveling in the Himalayas, in those days, 130, 140 years before, where there was a Himalayas with full of dense forest, very thinly populated area, getting food from begging is very difficult. And Swamiji had taken a oath saying that I will not beg for food, I will not ask food. If God wills, the food let it come. I will not ask. I will not go and beg for food in any villages in front of any house. Bhavati Bhikshan, he like that. He took a oath and he had to pay heavy price for that. First day he's walking, no food, and somewhere he slept. Second day he got up and again he's walking Himalayas with that cold and terrain walk or mountain walk or valley walk. Second day he walked, no food. Then Swamiji thought, okay, oh God, if it is your will, if that is your will, then okay, I will accept. Then the third day without food is probably walking, and he encounters tiger, a tiger or lion. He encounters. Imagine. Already for 2 days he doesn't have food. Probably he might have felt weak bit, no doubt. Third day he's seeing, and he's also quite hungry, and he's seeing a hungry tiger. Imagine what will happen when we face such. Immediately we get shivering and sweat increases, BP, our BP heartbeat increases. We run, and the speed, how much we can run in that same speed, if we can probably maintain in 100 meters or 1000 meters running race, we can stand first or second. So generally we run, we scream, and we try to hide ourselves. We try to climb on some trees. Basically, we will try to protect ourselves from the tiger. Interestingly, in Swami Vivekananda's case, nothing of these reactions or actions happened. He started telling, "Oh, my dear tiger, I know that you are also hungry. I am also hungry. And from 2 days, I didn't get food, and I don't know whether I will get food or not. Never mind, please come and eat me. At least I will feel happy that this body was able to serve the animals hunger for 1 day. Any of this body is going to be turned into a pot full of ash 1 day. So please come and have this, consume this body as your food," saying that Swami Vivekananda sat there itself with the meditation. Imagine what a tremendous courage Swamiji had. Then I don't, we don't, I mean, God is gracious. I think if Tiger would have consumed Swamiji's body on those days, probably afterwards Swamiji, whatever the achievement we see, it would not have happened. Probably it was divine's will, providence will. Then the tiger went away. After 5 or 10 minutes, Swamiji slowly opens his eyes and he sees there is no tiger. Then Swamiji, he gets up and he continues his walking. On the third day, Swamiji gets his food. Interestingly, one person in the very interior forest, in the third day, a person, he comes and he knocks, and he comes and brings the best food for Swamiji. Swamiji was stunned. And Swamiji says, "Oh, are you, probably you have thought, I mean, it is a wrong dial. I don't know who are you and you don't know me. Who am I? How did you bring the food? Probably you might have brought for someone else." Then that person says, "No, no, I have got for you only." "How did you know that I'm here?" "Because it is a very interior, dense forest." Then he said, "I got a dream. There, God appeared me and saying that my devotee is there and such a sadhu is there without food. Please go and serve him." Saying that my God appeared and he instructed me to get the best food and serve you. So that's the reason I have got the best food for you. Please accept and please bless me. Then Swamiji, tears rolled down on the Swamiji's cheeks that God will never desert us. Even at the, I mean, dense forest Himalayas, he was able to get the best food. Swamiji, he ate and he thanked, and Swamiji continued his journey. So this type of incidents, every one of us or some of us, we may face and in different places in a different way. To face all that, Atma Bala is one of the best example. And we have got our own fear of death, fear of losing, fear of old age, fear of disease. All these things comes. How to face them? It is because of Atma Bala. If you start feeling, if you start experiencing that I am self, I am self, I am self, all these things may come, may go, but you are not disturbed. For an example, I can give one of the best example is, one more example is our Gurudev. And he was 96 probably, 96 or 98. And his health was not good. And he was, admitted to hospital. And nasal feeding is going on. IV fluids are there. And so many parameters, to check his parameters, so many instruments have been placed on his body. And he had given a lectures on Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So that was transcribed. One brahmachari is reading And Swamiji is at the age of 96 with all these physical ailments. He is lying down and is listening and is correcting if there is any mistake or some additions or subtraction or removal or whatever. Then one of the senior monk or the present, the then general secretary, Swamiji, he goes and he inquires, Maharaj, how is your health? Imagine he's at the 96, his nasal feeding is going on, IV fluids are going on and all. If we get one fever and little headache, we feel morose. We give a complaint for people that I'm not well and etc. But in his case, he said, I am okay. And very joyfully and very laughingly says, I am okay, but these people want to check something, so that's the reason they have put some tubes for my nose and for my body, different parts, and they're doing their work, and I am doing my work, and I am happy. So everyone was stunned definitely to listen to this answer. Then they inquired and went, and afterwards he continued his work of this listening to the transcribing work of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. He finished and he said, my work is done. Then afterwards, in 2 or 3 days, just he left his mortal coil. So at this old age or advanced age, with all that physical challenges, just is able to listen Brihadaranyaka Upanishad talk, his own talk, and is able to tell what is right and what is wrong. And when people ask, how are you? He's telling, I am okay, I am fine, there is no problem. So how a monk is able to tell that? Is it possible for every one of us? Yes, it is possible, provided we manifest the self power or self knowledge or the Atma Bala. So that is inherent in every one of us. That's what Swamiji meant. So it is not the property of any one particular person, or it is a group of people or a set of people. It is possible for all of us, only we have to manifest, we have to consciously, we have to put into practice. And this Atma Bala, if it increases, we can face a lot of struggle, we can face adverse circumstances, and we can turn these adverse circumstances into opportunities. That's why Swamiji says that when when the spirituality or the power of self is aroused, everything will be beautifully harmonized in personality and also in his work. This is the beauty of the Atma Bala, the power of the Atman, the power of the self, or the power of the consciousness. So the power of the consciousness is actually the real. And if it is gone through mind, it becomes manobala. And if it is manifested through the body, then it becomes daihika bala or deha bala. That is the body strength. And if it is gone, circulated, channelized through the emotions, then it becomes emotional power. The source of strength, the fundamental source of strength, the primary source is what? Atma Bala, or the power, deduced out from the Atman or from the consciousness. And that is there in every one of us. So we have to manifest it. We have to manifest it. We have to manifest it. And Swamiji tells, God is not to be reached by the weak. Never be weak. You must be strong. You have infinite strength within you. How else you will conquer anything? How else will come to God? Infinite strength is religion and God. See, it's a very catchy and very interesting sentence. Last sentence. Infinite strength is religion. Infinite strength is God. So Swamiji is equating the God with the religion with the infinite strength. Basically, our God with the strength. So Swamiji is equating the strength and God are same thing. So your God means we can take it as a divinity. So he's equating the strength with the divinity. Infinite strength is equal to God. Infinite strength is equal to divinity. So I would like to be divine. I would like to manifest the divinity means what? I have to practice strength or I have to manifest the strength in our physical actions or in our mental actions, emotional actions or in thoughts, in thinking or in our spiritual practices or in our spiritualization. In all these places, strength has to be manifested according to the Swamiji. And why he says infinite faith and infinite strength are the only conditions of success. And what is faith? I think already I've spoken sometime. Infinite faith and infinite strength are the only conditions of the success. So if you have got a strength, then you can be successful. Then the next question, I think for all the listeners will come, then what about the luck Swamiji? Or what about the fate Swamiji? So the luck and the fate is nothing but the result of your one's own actions. If I am lucky because God is partial to me, no, it is because of the merits of my own actions. When I have to do good actions, the results will be called punya or luck. When I do bad actions or evil actions, then the results will be called papa, or which will be, unluck, or the difficulties or whatever. So if I'm lucky or fate, my fate is good means what? Because of my actions. So all comes into the strength and the faith. If these things can be taken care, then the success becomes easy for anyone. Or if not, it is possible. So on this holy day, on the Youth Day, or on the birthday of Swami Vivekananda, according to the Gregorian calendar, may he bless us all of us, so that let us manifest this strength, let us manifest the divinity more and more in our personality and also in our actions, so that we can attain the success and we can lead the peaceful life and contented life. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishnarpanamastu.